There was a man alone in his home, wallowing, falling in deep depression. His wife was in critical condition, needing an urgent surgery, for her life was hanging by a thread. He felt so helpless, for no one can help him financially. He was a mason, earning a meager wage, drowned in debts to support his wife's medical and hospital expenses. A little later, his daughter Catherine came home in high spirits with a bouquet of flowers for her sick mother. But she became nervous seeing his father in a depressive state, sniffling as he wept. "What happened, Papa? Is something wrong with Mama? Why are you crying?" The daughter bombarded her father with too many questions, anxious for her mother's state, who was bedridden with heart disease.
Your mother needs surgery, and it costs too much. I don't know where and how I could get the money, especially that the surgery costs $2 million, including the hospital bills and medicines. Where in the world will I get that money? If her surgery is further delayed, your mother might not live longer. Mr. Norton was wailing helplessly. I couldn't let your mother die, Kathy. I love your mama so much.
Via looked at her dad with so much sympathy, and in the same time was troubled because she had no idea how to help or look for a loan when all of her friends were poor, like them.
I guess I have no choice but to approach the boss. I hope that he may understand and have a good heart to listen, despite that I'm already drowning in debt with my loans from his company, he said with so much worry.
At the look of her face, worry and fear clouded her thoughts, and she couldn't let things pass by because time is ticking. "We have to try see and convince him, Papa. We must not waste time. Let us go and talk to him now."
Yes, we have to. If I have to kneel and beg, I will. Just stay close and let me do the talking. Mr. Norton couldn't let her daughter know what is running in his mind. He was nervous about what he wanted to tell his employer and was doubtful, though, if this would even be acceptable, but he had to do this for the sake of his wife, who was in the depth of dying. He knew perfectly well what the kind of man his boss, Mr. Philip Warren, was.
Mr. Tom Norton and Kathy arrived at the villa. She was amazed how vast the Warren estate was, and the villa was a splendor to her sight. And when they were led inside, she gasped in amazement for the beauty of its interior. Wishing silently, she whispered, "I will have this kind of home someday." The father and daughter came face to face with Philip Warren, seated by his desk waiting for them. Kathy was surprised. She recalled he was the man she accidentally bumped into while she and her friends were chatting as they walked around the business building's vicinity. She and her friends were eating ice cream as they were joking and laughing, unaware that they were crossing path to a group of men. Eventually, they bumped into each other, and the ice cream cone in her hand stuck to his chest. "What the?" Philip exclaimed, simultaneously glared at her. "Stupid, reckless you," Philip angrily commented while wiping his suit with his handkerchief, glaring at her. Kathy, offended by his remarks, glared at him too and said, "You were walking straight, you could have seen us and would have avoided us. Who is more stupid, huh?" Both stared sharply. Then Kathy squinted at him as she walked away.
Philip recognized her but said nothing. He just stared at her while asking, "What made you come, Tom?" Mr. Norton, with a bowed head, replied, "Sir Philip, I need your help. Please hear me out first, sir. My wife needs surgery, or else she may not last longer. I would like to ask for a loan of $2 million and," Philip quickly cut him, $2 million. Do you think that's easy money? Philip continued, "You're already old, Tom. Even if I give you a time frame of, let's say, 10 years, you're still indebted to my company. And more so, you still have previous loans that you're paying through salary deductions. And now you're borrowing again. This time $2 million? Your salary is too meager to settle this kind of loan, and you still have outstanding debts. This is not a charity institution, Tom. You must have something to offer me as collateral. Then maybe." Mr. Norton quickly replied, "Yes, sir. I have. I could put up my house's mortgage," Philip remarked. "I don't need your property as collateral, Tom. I already have lots of land property." His gaze turned to the daughter intently, with a suggestive interest on her as he spoke.
Catherine, who was attentively listening to the two men's conversation, couldn't no longer carry on with their discussion. She politely cut in and said, "Sir Philip, We are aware that we can't offer anything else but our property. Though old as it was, still, it was well maintained. Aside from our property, I could get 2 jobs to help my dad settle his obligations. I will set aside my studies for a while and help my father. You're the only person who could help us. Please, Sir Philip.
Philip looked at her interestingly and asked, "How old are you, and what work do you intend to have?" Philip was in his mid-20s, handsome and well-built. He was known as a bachelor but vain, overbearing and brusquely domineering. Women were always around him, and beautiful women never escaped from his sight.
I'm 20. I've presently helped my friend's mom in decorating her diner, and I was paid for my talent. That money could add up as payment to my father's debt. Soon I will work as server in my friend's diner, and then I can still find additional job. So please help us get this loan to save my mother, Sir Philip.
Having seen how Philip Warren looked at his daughter, he knew how he can convince him. He kneeled and begged before Philip to reconsider his property as collateral, and then, with bowed head, he said in a low tone of gurgling voice, "I can also give up my daughter to you, as assurance that I won't break my obligation to you."
Catherine was startled and shocked in disbelief. Papa, what are you saying? You're giving away your daughter? Tell me I misheard what you've said. Tears of anguish and disillusionment began streaming down her cheeks.
"You heard it right, Kathy, and I'm so sorry. I have no other option because your mother has to live. I can't let her die on us. I love your mother so much. I'm sorry."
You're sorry? I can't believe this. I am your daughter. You are supposed to protect me. But look at you. Are you not ashamed to sell your daughter for money? You should have never let me born into this world, only to be given away for money. I'm as good as dead.
"I am sorry. I can't let your mother leave us. I won't let her die. She is my life." "Catherine, put yourself in my shoes. One day, you'll understand."
Understand? You've given me away, or should I say you sold me out. I can never forgive you. You lost me now. I'm as good as dead. I hate you. I hate you. Catherine turned her back from her father and cried hard, felt so much pain and sadness as if her heart is about to explode.
Philip Warren remained silent, just watching them, expressionless. Then he spoke. "Since this is your decision, I couldn't say anything more. I'll call the hospital now to let the surgery begin. I'll send the $2 million to their bank account. You may leave now. Be with your wife. From now on, you'll never see or hear from Catherine again. She's mine now. But don't worry, she's in good hands. But should you worry, she's no longer your responsibility. Come to my office tomorrow to close our deal." Mr. Norton walked away heartbroken without a word, but only took a last look at her daughter, who was still in tears. Philip Warren turned his back on them and looked at his glass window quietly.